Another important component is building designs that put eyes on the street and support a good walking environment. So we want to make sure that it feels safe, it feels comfortable and convenient, and part of that relates back to building design. So in terms of actual modes of transportation, walking is our #1 priority. We aim to make walking safe, convenient, and delightful, because why shouldn't you enjoy it? And we aim to support a vibrant public life. Most everyone is a pedestrian at some point. If you think about, even if you drove here, you walked from your car to this venue, and almost every trip involves walking at some point. So sometimes it's just those micro walking trips that we're talking about, and sometimes it's longer trips. Grandview-Woodlands is a walking community to a great extent. Lots of people walk in Grandview-Woodland. However, Grandview-Woodland is also home to some of the city's top pedestrian collision locations. So that brings us back to the safety issues, and through this process, working to identify the safety hotspots in the community and figuring out how we improve them. So the specific policies are around creating vibrant and interesting streets and public spaces, addressing gaps in the pedestrian network, and improving safety, comfort, and accessibility. Cycling we've heard quite a bit about already today. Like I said, we're not arriving at solutions today, we're just helping to define the problem. My Director of Transportation gave me a quote this morning to help prepare me. He said, remember that Einstein said if he had an hour to solve a problem, he would spend 55 minutes defining the problem and understanding it, and 5 minutes coming up with a solution. So that's what we're aiming to do when it comes to cycling. When we talk about Commercial Drive or Victoria or whatever, to get a quality north-south connection through Grandview-Woodland, we're going to spend a lot of time understanding the problem and understanding the implications of one solution over another. The reality is it's a gap in the network. It's a high desired location to cycle, but it's not an easy problem to fix. So we'll be spending a lot of time understanding it. Improving things for cycling looks different depending on where you are in the city. Ultimately, our goal is to build routes that are safe, comfortable, and convenient for people of all ages and abilities. We're not only talking about the road warriors. There's 5% of the cycling population will bike anywhere, including the Knight Street Bridge. That's not who we're planning for. We're planning for me, who likes to cycle, but I'm not comfortable on arterial streets. We're planning for people with children. We're planning for people who are a little bit less comfortable riding in traffic. We're also planning for what to do with your bike when you get there. So it's not good enough to just blast past a place and not be able to get there easily, not be able to take care of your stuff when you get there. So providing secure and abundant parking becomes part of our planning as well. Sometimes it looks like separated bike lanes. It doesn't very often, if at all, look like the before picture where there's a painted bike lane with lots of cars around. That's not an all ages and abilities facility. The one on the right is. And it depends on context, where you want to go, how you decide where separated bike lanes come in. Sometimes it looks like a neighborhood bikeway. So this is a local street, a series of images of local street bikeways, particularly on the bottom, and sometimes that works. Sometimes it's better to have people off of the main streets on a nearby local street. I'm so close to being done. Transit, I think we're all very familiar with transit in Grandview-Woodland. We have one of the region's most significant transit hubs, that being Commercial and Broadway. So the goals or the directions in the transportation plan are to increase capacity on transit, work with our transit partners, TransLink, Coast Mountain Bus, provide transit service in the city. We work with them and advocate for improved service. We need fast, frequent, reliable, accessible, and comfortable service in order to encourage people to shift to this mode. Our objective is to advance local and rapid transit improvements and to support building a transit supportive public realm. What that means is building in a way that makes it easier, makes it safer, and more comfortable and convenient for people to use transit. We also have policies on motor vehicles. So we need to improve safety in some locations and manage congestion. We need to make it easier to drive less, and we need to accelerate a shift to low carbon vehicles. It's not fair. So it includes managing congestion, supporting car share, and supporting a shift, like I said, to low carbon vehicles. It means managing parking. We can't talk about any transportation mode in absence of the other, so managing parking becomes part of it. On the parking front, we're currently conducting a parking study to understand get updated numbers on how much space we've got in parking hotspots around Grandview-Woodland, how many people are parking in those areas at what time of the day, and what the regulations are around that to help us understand how to make it better. Supporting goods movement is also essential, particularly to the economy and to the makeup of the city. So we support different scales of goods movement, including international scale goods movement, that being the port, and also local scale goods movement. And of course, through all of this, we need to maintain effective emergency response times. The most used photograph, I think, today. All of this has to be thought of in the context of Grandview-Woodland, and Andrew's going to be providing additional context on that.